Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, and in my hand I have my hospital paperwork because today we're going to talk about my upcoming ACL operation, the exact cost of that operation, the type of reconstruction that I've gone for, and the decision-making process behind that. So let's get into it. But before I start, I just want to caveat this by saying I realize talking finances can be quite triggering for people, particularly in a time when prices of everything is through the roof. However, in the UK, I do think it's unnecessarily taboo, and we don't really like to talk about finances. But I've already had a few people message me on Instagram saying, my girlfriend, for example, has just done her ACL skiing. Do you know how much your operation cost? Can you let me know? So I thought the benefits of this is surely going to outweigh the few people that are not going to like me talking about finances. I'd also like to point out that I am fully aware of the accident of birth that has meant that I live in a very wealthy country and can afford to do this because of my job. However, I'm not pretending like I can just get operations left, right and center. This is going to be a substantial hit for me, so I just want to make that clear. But I am going to go into the specific cost of this operation because it's going to help somebody. You can probably tell by my demeanor that I'm looking at the price now going, Jesus, but I don't want to limp when I'm 40, so let's do it. So to give you some context, 4 years ago playing rugby, I fully ruptured my ACL. Fortunately, I didn't do any of the damage, any of the ligament damage or cartilage damage. I just did my ACL, and it's the biggest video on my channel. You can probably see here. It's got 209,000 views, and to be quite honest with you, it's carried my channel since then. Unfortunately, 3 months ago, I fully ruptured my reconstructed ACL. And this time I've also torn my medial meniscus. So it's a slightly worse injury than last time. I promise you, I've not done this for the views, but until they get into my knee, they're not really gonna know how bad that meniscus tear is, which is quite a scary prospect really. But it is a slightly worse injury than last time, but you are in a weird position with ACLs where you can kind of get back to your day to day. So I'm walking around as normal. I could probably get back to running, but no kind of cutting. I'm squatting, I'm deadlifting. You'll see this in other videos that I'm gonna do. But it is a strange one because if I want to return to sport at any kind of high level or at least competitive level, I'm left with a choice of waiting to have an operation on the NHS or going private. Now, the obvious advantage of having it on the NHS is it costs nothing. It would cost me literally zero, but I am gonna have to wait a long time, probably gonna be about 2 years. There's a few things that's working against me in that sense. One, I'm young, I'm fit, I'm healthy, so my day-to-day doesn't really change as a result of this knee. I can walk around, I can drive, I can work, so I'm not a priority compared to somebody who needs life-saving kind of surgery, particularly in the context of COVID having pushed back operations massively. So the wait time is just getting longer and longer. It should be kind of slowly catching up with itself now, but still I'm probably looking 18 months minimum. Now, if I'd just done my ACL, I might have considered waiting, but because I've done my cartilage as well, and I've had a few flare-ups since the injury where it just pain on the inside of your knee and then it kind of swells and you just put it in the wrong place or you twist and it just feels wrong. I'm thinking the longer I leave this, the more damage I'm going to do. And I've seen people with bad knees at age 40, 50 who didn't get them sorted as quick as they should or could. I'm in a very fortunate position and I just want to get it done. I just want to get it done. So I'm slightly despairing because 2 knee operations on the same knee before my 28th birthday. The chances of me avoiding arthritis are slim to none. So I just kind of want to get this out of the way and really focus on rehab because, yeah. Positive, come on, it's gonna be fine. So there are actually 2 options when you pay for a private operation. You can either pay for a private operation in a private hospital, which is the more expensive option, or you can pay for a private operation in a public hospital. Unfortunately, to get a private operation in a public hospital, there has to be private lists made available in the public hospitals, and rightly so, there are none at the moment. When I spoke to my surgeon who actually did my last operation as well, he said the NHS aren't kind of making spaces available in those public hospitals because, as I said, rightly so, more important operations are having to take place. So I completely understand that. Unfortunately, that means I am having a private operation in a private hospital, which is the more expensive option out of the 2. So the costs, the moment you've all been waiting for now. There were 2 types of ACL operation. One's called an Auotgraft and one is called an Allograft. Now, an auto comes from yourself. So they normally or typically take a slither of your patella tendon or your hamstring tendon. Now, this is normally the patient's choice. Unfortunately, if they take a bit of your patella or your hamstring, the recovery time is slower because they've obviously cut into another part of your body. And if you choose patella, there can be kneeling pain forever. One surgeon said to me there can be a lifetime worth of kneeling pain. You'll never be able to kneel on it again without feeling pain. I'm not sure if that is always the case with everyone, but that's what he suggested to me. If you do your patella patella can affect quad strength, and if you do your hamstring, it can affect hamstring and glute strength. Now, unfortunately with hamstring, he said that can affect your speed because your hamstrings are so important for sprinting. It's marginal, that difference. You can build them up to be very strong, but he explained it as you may never reach 100% of your kind of capacity of strength. Fortunately, last time I had an allograft. That's because I was covered under private healthcare and my dad's work insurance. I was young enough to kind of sneak into his work scheme, and the surgeon said, well, in that case, I would say go for an allograft because it doesn't mean you have to have any of your own tendons harvested. Return to sport will be quicker if you have an allograft, so I would go for that one. So I did. Sorry, warning, if any of you are squeamish at this point, please turn away or find another video. An allograft is when they use a piece of another human. So in America, they would call it a cadaver. In the UK, we'd call it a dead person. I don't know, a donor. So I have a piece of deceased American in my knee. Thank you to that person. I will, as a result, or I've always kind of thought this, be putting my body up for as a donor, because why wouldn't you do that? Your body is nothing once you're gone. God, we're getting on to deep subjects here, aren't we? Anyway, I was advised an allograft would mean you can get back to sport quicker, so I opted for that version. Unfortunately, that is the ACL that I have now re-ruptured. Yeah, not ideal. What's less ideal is I'm having an allograft again. This time, I'm paying for it. But let's start with the Auotgraft. So an Auotgraft reconstruction of the anterior cruciate ligament under the care of my surgeon, I'm going to say his name because I haven't asked his permission to use his name, is £7,528. Yeah, not cheap. But what's really not cheap is the price of an allograft reconstruction of anterior cruciate ligament under the care of my surgeon is £11,091. Yeah, which means the cost of the tendon alone, the donor tendon, is £3,563. So that kind of explains why the NHS don't use allografts as the standard, because when nobody's paying for it, over 3.5k for each individual to have an ACL on top of the 7k it already costs. So yeah, there you have it, £11,091. That is a substantial hit for me. Yeah. But at least I'll have a new knee. Now, I want to be as transparent with the financial side of things as possible and also make some of you aware that finance is an option. There was an option to spread the payments out up to 5 years, but then you start paying interest. The interest-free options were 6 months or 10 months. I went for 10 months. So I'm paying a deposit of £847, followed by 10 payments of £1,024.40. So I'm spreading the pain. It's a substantial hit each month, but at least it's not a lump sum of 11,000. Thanks for my new knee. I thought, kind of for the benefit of my health, it's a decision that, though it's not been lightly taken, it is something that I am in the mindset that it is the right decision. But as a result, I'm going to be absolutely smashing the videos this year. I figured out, based on my old operation videos kind of monetization level, if this video, this one right here, or my new operation video that I'll film next week when I have my operation, gets 32 million views, my operation will pay for itself. Simple. Like and subscribe. Oh my God. But jokes aside, I am going to document my recovery, and hopefully that inspires other people who are going through the same thing to return to sport, and hopefully it'll give people a good insight into the day-to-day of recovery. I've got a few videos coming out based on injury up until this point, so it's been about a 3-month window. I'm going to show you some of my training and my prehab. My operation is next week, so I'll get an operation video, and then it'll be, yeah, as I say, the recovery. So lots to come. I hope some of you found that useful. Big up. See you soon. Peace.